I want to thank you all for coming to the signing of the proclamation proclaiming June as Gun Safety Awareness Month and Gun Violence Awareness Month. I want to thank Kobe Owens for coming from down in the 1st District, of course, all the moms that are dressed in orange. Each year about this time, in my old job, we used to get together in Dover in my office and make the same declaration. As I've moved on to be mayor of Wilmington, the issue has become more dire than ever. It's something, unfortunately, that we experience fairly regularly. We've got a great police chief who has earned the trust of the people of the city across from one neighbor to the next. He goes about his job in a very straightforward way, focusing on the problems, not really getting engaged in all the differences of opinion, but doing what's necessary to, in this case, prevent gun violence in our city. If there's one issue that's kind of more important than others, this is it. Public safety in general, for sure, but gun violence in particular, particularly in some neighborhoods, doesn't inflict and find itself in every neighborhood across our city. And in some ways, that makes it even kind of more important that some of our neighbors have to live with this fear and this violence on a day-to-day basis. So I'd like to turn it over to the chief now, first in front of all the moms. And we got a dad here, too. He's man. I like that. To turn it over to our man enough to be a mom, the chief of the Wilmington Police Department. Chief Campos.
Thank you, Mayor Carney, and thank you to the families, the community leaders that are here. Councilman Owens, appreciate you being here as well, to draw attention to this very important topic of gun violence. Gun violence is one of the challenges facing our nation today, and Wilmington is no different. We haven't been spared this epidemic of gun violence that is affecting neighborhoods throughout the country. But I can tell you that as your police chief, one single shooting, one homicide is way too many. And to the families who've been afflicted by gun violence, I can't even imagine the pain that you have felt, getting that call of losing a loved one, a brother, a sister, a son, or a family member. But what I can tell you is that I've been on that other side where I had to make that phone call or knock on that door as a young investigator, and it gave me pause each and every time, because I knew once I knocked on that door, it was almost on my expression of what was going to be said. As we move forward, I just want you all to know that as your police chief, I hear you. I hear the community, and I hear how important it is to make sure that we end gun violence. Our brothers and sisters, our kids are losing their lives over senseless violence that doesn't need to happen. One thing that I can assure you is that we're going to try to prevent as much of this violence as possible through our efforts and collaboration with our state, county, and federal partners. And when it does happen, we're going to make sure that we hold people accountable. I can tell you that the cold case unit has cleared cases at a pace that hasn't been seen in years, and we're going to continue to do that, because we don't ever forget someone who loses their life to violence. I also, being that we're here today talking about gun violence, I want to make sure that I also share some of the progress that we've made, right? As we started this CompStat methodology in 2017, I'll just give you real quick some of the things that are going on. In 2025, as of May 25th, we were up to 20 shootings. And I spoke this morning at another event, and that's 20 shootings too many. And again, I'm not waving a victory flag or anything like that, but I just want to give you context of where we were and where we've come, and where we need to go. And as of, again, May 25th, we were at 20 shootings. As of last year, compared to that, we were at 38 shootings. But even more so, when you look at 2017, when we started this process, there were 77 shootings as of May 25th of 2017. 77 compared to 20. We've made a lot of inroads, and that's because of all the help that we received. This is not just a police issue or problem to solve. It's the many community residents that have come forward and assisted us in helping us, and organizations such as, Moms Demand Action and everyone else that contribute to this reduction in violence, especially gun violence. I also want to just talk about real quick, if I can, Mayor. Last night, part of our strategies, we had our group violence intervention call-in, where I had 24 individuals, 23 males, 1 female, who we know have been identified through one way or another of being involved and having the highest propensity to be either a shooting victim or a shooter themselves. And I was amazed at how when these kids came in, and they're all kids, I call them kids, the looks on their faces, and by the time we left that meeting, when one of the speakers asked them who wants help, just about every kid raised their hand. And that's the progress that we're making. These kids want help. They have no direction. They come from broken families. There's a lot of issues that are going on that we need to reach out and make sure that we don't forget them as well. So just to wrap up real quick, not to get too long, as the summer approaches, we're going to continue our strategies that have gotten us to this point. But we're also deploying some of our administrative officers from desk jobs or from other positions to be able to have additional presence in our areas that we know we're having issues, and that will continue. So with that said, I thank you all for being here to listen to what we're doing and where we need to go. So thank you, and I'll turn it back over to the mayor.
Yeah, thanks very much, Chief, and thank you for mentioning the other ways besides direct law enforcement engagement of your men in Wilmington Police Department. You mentioned GVI, which Group Violence Intervention, in the call-in last night. That's an initiative started at the state level that gets right into the individuals that are involved in these groups and gangs and tries to give them a way out. And we also have Deborah Mason's here with CPSI, Community Public Safety Initiative, working to support individuals that are in the neighborhoods where this violence is occurring, so that they're not dealing, or they're dealing more positively with the stresses of that. So, but as the chief said, it doesn't happen without the whole community rallying behind all these various efforts, being mindful of what we're doing, making sure that they communicate with law enforcement when it gets to that level, helping with people that are on the edge a little bit. We know who those folks are in the neighborhoods that we live in before they go down the wrong path. All that can be helpful, and the moms, certainly Kristen's going to be here to speak for the moms. We appreciate all your advocacy for, gosh, I don't know, almost 10 years or more now, it seems like to me. Thank you all for coming, and Kristen, go ahead, the floor is yours as I get ready to. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor Carney. Thank you, Chief Campos. And thank you for honoring the survivors and victims of both gun homicides and suicides here in Delaware, in Wilmington. Suicides actually make up over 50% of our gun deaths here, so we want to recognize that as well. We're doing a good job in here in Delaware. We're lucky to be in a state that we can say that. We are lowering the numbers. We need to continue to do that. Like Chief said, one is too many. And by wearing orange, we bring awareness to this. First Friday in June, every year we wear orange in honor of the survivors and the victims, and to bring awareness to this epidemic that has gone on far too long. So I just want to thank everyone for being here. Thank the City of Wilmington and all the officials that have joined us. And And that'll wrap it up.
Very good, thank you. And Kobe, if you want to come up, if anybody wants to join and gather around behind as I just read the proclamation and sign it. And again, as you gather, we thank the awareness that you bring in every place in our state. We know how active you are in each and every community.
Are you going to wear your glasses or
I'm going to put my glasses on after I read.
He needs to see.
They're too dark.
That's right.
Come on, Dad.
So this is a proclamation from the Office of the Mayor, whereas June is recognized nationally as Gun Violence Awareness Month, a time to honor the lives lost and those forever changed by gun violence in our communities. And whereas National Gun Violence Awareness Day, observed on the first Friday in June, marks the beginning of the Wear Orange campaign, a movement that began in honor of Hadiya Pendleton, a teenager who was shot and killed in Chicago just 1 week after performing at President Obama's second inauguration. And whereas orange is the color hunters wear in the woods to protect themselves and others, and it has become a powerful symbol of solidarity, remembrance, and a call to action for victims, survivors, and advocates striving to end gun violence. And whereas the Wear Orange campaign brings together a broad coalition of individuals and organizations across the country to elevate awareness, foster community resilience, and demand meaningful change in policy and practice to reduce gun-related tragedies. And whereas the City of Wilmington encourages residents to participate in local events happening throughout the county this month to show their support, stand in solidarity, and advocate for safer communities for all, be it hereby known to all that I, John Carney, Mayor of the City of Wilmington, proclaim the month of June 2025 as Gun Violence Awareness Month in the City of Wilmington, and urge all citizens to wear orange and join in community efforts to raise awareness and work towards an end to gun violence in our city. There we go.